welcome back to After Hours Auto Works. And I know it's been a few weeks and all since we've got together and all, but I did make some progress on the XJ camper build. And this time I built a roof rack. And some of you may have seen my old Cherokee in previous videos and all, and how I did the roof rack. And this is the same design that I used on the camper itself. And so we're going to go in here and we're going to talk about this roof rack. So come on with me and I'll show you what we've done. Alright, here's our XJ camper build right here, and it's slowly making progress. We started out with a main strip here, which is 2 inches high by 1.5 inches wide. Now, used to, I could buy that angle, but for some reason our local steel shops around do not carry that anymore. So I actually had to have some fabricated from a friend of mine who bent some for me. And right here is a piece of it. And in order to get the arch that's on the roof, I actually had to take this metal that my friend bent me, 2 by 1.5, and softly tap on that metal. Just let you go down through there, back and forth, eventually creating an arch right there. That made my platform or my foundation for my roof rack. Now this is one where you're going to be using on another Cherokee roof rack I got to build. So this right here is a lot different than your traditional style roof racks. With that foundation on there, completing the whole entire roof system here, it puts this load even on here without having to use the old clip-on triangular style plates and all. And because these Cherokees, that drip edge is not a lot to brag about it. Of course, it has the trim that pops on the outside, so don't be fooled thinking that this drip edge is really all that heavy duty. It's okay for light duty purposes, but I wouldn't trust it on a real big load. That's why I wanted to go ahead and put this full, what I call my foundation down. And that's how I got my arch, by softly maturing this with a hammer and putting it up here, trying it, taking it down. I was able to get the contour I need. One thing you might have noticed on my Jeep out there, the difference in this one is that on my Jeep I used this regular round stock here, whereas on this one I used some 1/2 inch square, and I went ahead and bent it, and to make that right there, the out of square stock. The upper rails and the lower rails, well, you know as well as I do, I'm all about trying to save $1. And in order to save $1, I wound up going to a local old plumber, a friend of mine, that had plenty of old galvanized pipe. And, and regular old pipe that was left over out of the job, some black pipe, some regular galvanized, and gave it to me free. And so I used a lot of it on this right here and just pieced it together and all and welded it and wound up making a nice frame. The square tubing underneath here is some that I picked up from a friend of mine, just some old secondhand style square tubing that you had left over. Now the expanded metal, of course, I had to wind up buying it brand new. And this expanded metal, whenever I bought it brand new like it is and all, it's only 49 inches wide. The way expanded metal is actually 49, I think 3/8. I had to add a little bit to it. So there's kind of tricks to doing that, and I won't get into it today about how to weld that expanded metal and all. But as you see on this side here, I did it the same way as the other side. I left both ends wide open. You might, a lot of racks, they go, have an upper rail and all, but I didn't want that because I wanted to be able to come up from either end at any given time. Just come up and if I want to put a tent facing this way or a tent facing that way, or if I wanted to load anything I wanted to on it, I'd have it wide open. If I wanted to lay lumber up there, whatever, I would be able to do it. And of course, I utilized the regular old 6 mil style bolts that the original Cherokee uses. I did have to wind up buying a few pop nuts to rev nuts is what they call it, to add in here to make it even and all. But I was able to get those fitting real good right there. So it's really secure. It's going to work out real good for what we're doing and all. And of course, you remember my box here from the previous video and all. I've still got to get it off and get it painted. So if you hadn't checked out the video on that, check out my previous video and you'll see how I did that. So now we're getting to the point now that the roof rack is actually built. Of course, I'm going to be lifting it off to finish up my body work. Got to do my body work here, finish this up, the other side, and start getting this thing painted and all. The next step here is I am going to be going underneath and fully paint my frame ahead of time, getting my frame all painted, getting that painted before I ever do this outside body and doing the paint job on it. So I just figured I'd give you a quick video, an update on this roof rack. I got it done. Now let me explain something to you. When you get in a project like this, believe me, things are gonna go wrong. It's gonna happen. Just take your time, do the best you can, and if you don't like it, go back and do it over. Because I'll tell you an incident with this roof rack. I got ahead of myself, trying to hurry up, just had a few hours to work on it that day, and I welded it together too quickly. The next thing I know, it kind of took a little bit of an arch to this roof rack. It was starting to take an arch to it. I didn't like that, so I turned around, stopped what I was doing, and I cut loose my rails here and went ahead and clamped it down to my table, and then went back and re-welded it the right way. Don't speed through this thing, these projects, and wind up getting yourself in a fix. So that's just a tip right there. Kind of had to relive that tip myself. So appreciate you coming out and being with us and all. And join us next time on After Hours Auto Work.